Welcome back to the Warbird Mistress. Today is Monday, the 5th of January, 1942, and this is A Walk Through the War. We begin today in the Southwest Pacific Theater of Operations with the Far East Air Force. As B-17s from Malang, Java take off through Samarinda, Dutch Borneo, 600 miles away to attack Japanese shipping in Davao Bay, a further 700 miles off on a staged strike that began in the hours of the previous day. Each B-17 is loaded with maintenance personnel to assist them in the staging flight, as well as 4 600-pound Dutch bombs. The 8 B-17s, led by Major Cecil Combs, make a strike from 27,000 feet. The bombers were unscathed and they report a destroyer sunk. Japanese records instead show a cruiser heavily damaged, but it remains one of the few high-altitude heavy bomber strikes in the Pacific to succeed in an anti-shipping role. Turning now to the Hawaiian Air Force, the B-17s of the 22nd Bombardment Squadron Heavy, 7th Bombardment Group Heavy, leave Hickam Field on Oahu to join ABDA forces in Singosari, Java. Meanwhile, United States forces in Australia, which controls Far East Air Force, is redesignated United States Army Forces in Australia, Major General George H. Brett commanding. Going forward, no activity is noted in the diaries of the 6th and 7th of January, and this brings us to Thursday, the 8th of January, 1942. In the United Kingdom, Chief of the American Special Observer Group, Major General James Chaney, is given the concurrent title of Commanding General, U.S. Army Forces in British Isles. He is responsible for the United States preparations for operations in the European Theater of Operations. On Friday, the 9th of January, 1942, in the American Theater of Operations, the Caribbean Air Force's 74th Heavy Bombardment Squadron of the 6th Bombardment Group Heavy transfers with their B-18 Bolos from Rio Hato, Panama to Guatemala City, Guatemala, and continue their anti-submarine patrols. In the zone of the interior, the 21st Heavy Bombardment Squadron of the 30th Bomb Group Heavy begins flying ASW patrols from Muroc Army Air Base, California, with A-29 Hudsons, while the 48th Medium Bombardment Squadron, 41st Bombardment Group, transfers out of Muroc Army Air Base west to Bakersfield Military Airport with their mix of Hudsons and Bolos. Turning to the Southwest Pacific Theater of Operations with the Far East Air Force in the Dutch East Indies, Samarinda's supply of 100-octane petrol for the B-17s has been exhausted. Therefore, a mission is launched from Kendari on Celebes, the most modern and best-equipped airfield in the theater, with a raid of B-17s from a collection of units against shipping in Davao Bay off Mindanao, as they attempt to stem the Japanese tide as it turns towards the Dutch islands. Only 5 of the 9 aircraft led by Major Cecil Combs reached their target, with mechanical problems and poor visibility leading to the raid being of questionable value. And finally, on Saturday, the 10th of January, 1942, still in the Southwest Pacific Theater of Operations of the Far East Air Force, the remaining operational fighter units on Luzon complete their strategic withdrawal to Bataan Peninsula, which they had begun on Christmas Eve. The Japanese conquest is all but complete except for the determined American and Filipino forces in the mountains and on Bataan and the islands of Manila Bay. And that was the 5th through 10th of January, 1942. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing your comments and your feedback as we move forward in this walk through the war. As always, this is Claire, and I am the Warbird Mistress. Take care.